everyone. Welcome to another episode of Intern Diaries, an initiative by the Guindy Times, the official campus magazine of CEG, ACT, and SAP. Today we have with us Asmitha Shree, currently in fourth year from the IT department. She is a diligent and energetic individual who has plenty of experience in coding and app development. Owing to her remarkable skills and dedication, she has successfully completed her internship at Morgan Stanley. Welcome, Asmitha.
Thank you.
So, Asmitha, can you narrate to us your journey to CEG? Have you always known that information technology was your best choice or the right one?
No, to be honest, like everybody else in school, I didn't really concentrate on computer science that much because it seemed like PCM was the most important. So I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. And as a consequence, I was also not, scoring properly in it. And I never got the confidence in it. Choosing computer science, first of all, I didn't know that I would get into CEG. And choosing IT or like computer science as a stream was purely just it was just a decision that I took on the spot. And, when people talk about all the opportunities that are now available in the technology field, that's basically all that mattered. And it wasn't like, I was passionate about it or anything. In fact, I was actually a little scared that, I might not be able to do well in it and all that. So that apprehension was always there. But after, spending enough time on it in college, I realized that I did start liking it. So yeah, so it turned out to be a positive experience.
Great. When is the right time to start preparing for internships? And which particular areas should be a strong point?
So actually, a lot of students, even in my batch, and from what I've heard from the seniors and juniors, the students in our college don't actually know that we have on-campus internship opportunities starting from third year. So even before you start your third year, the companies will start coming. And since a lot of people weren't aware of it, a lot of people weren't aware of it. Personally, so during the lockdown, I spent a lot of time. So that's when I explored LinkedIn and I saw a lot of posts, and I realized that there were a lot of opportunities for even second year summer internship. So this opportunity that we get on campus is for third year summer internship, but I realized that there are also opportunities for second year summer internship, and I tried to apply for it off campus. So I think around December of my second year. Before the second semester of my second year started, that's around when I started preparing. And more than preparing, I would say that that's when I started becoming aware of all the opportunities that are available. There are a lot of mentorship programs that are available where that you can join and you can learn a lot of things. So that's how I actually joined two of those mentorship programs, and there I started understanding what kind of resources I should be using, how I should start preparing, and all of that. And I think it's around that time that I started preparing because I was trying to get the second year summer internship opportunity. But I have friends who started preparing like 2 or 3 months before the 2 or 3 months before the internships were announced and before the companies were announced, and they also did pretty well. So it again depends on what the students are aiming for, but I think I would say 2 or 3 months before the internship season, I think that should also be good enough to start preparing. And with regard to the DSA, with regard to the strong points, I would say data structures and algorithms. That's the most, it's like the basic thing. You should know it. You should know starting from arrays to dynamic programming, graphs, trees. There were some people who told me that, graphs, trees, and all are a little advanced for internships, but those topics are also really important. So just cover all the data structures, cover all the algorithms, learn everything, learn the time complexities, space complexities, and you should be able to start from the brute force approach and give the interviewers the optimized approach. So that is the basic thing. That's where you should start off. Apart from that, database, database and management system, operating system, and object-oriented programming. These three topics are very important. Personally, I was also asked these questions, questions from these topics in my interview. And this is true for any company that you're preparing for. These three topics are very important. And I would suggest that, I mean, I don't know how many people will be able to do it because I personally didn't follow this advice, but pay attention in class when it's being taught in your class during the semester when you're studying for your exam. If you pay attention to it very well and study for the exams very well, mostly those topics are more than enough to be able to do the interview well. So learn those when you're being taught in college. And these are the main things. And apart from that, your resume is very important. So whatever you put on your resume, whatever tech stack, whatever projects, you should be very thorough with it because the interviewers will ask you a lot of questions from it. And it's not enough. So, whatever tech stack you use, you should be able to answer questions like why you chose that tech stack and, what are the advantages of that tech stack over the other tech stacks and all of that. So yeah, any language that you mention in your resume, everything you should. So these are the main things to be able to do well in the interview.
That was very insightful. Thank you. Moving on, how was the road leading to your internship? Were there any ups and downs?
So with regard to the internship preparation itself, so I'll start from the beginning. So like I said, there were two mentorship programs that I joined. One was called Coders Cafe and the other was called Women Who Code Delhi. And I found out about these mentorship programs through LinkedIn. It was a lockdown period and I was always on LinkedIn. And there are also some Telegram channels. So through the LinkedIn posts and Telegram channels, I found out about these mentorship programs. So so it's very useful to join those. And so that's when so like I said, they told me what kind of resources I should use, and the mentors who were there were people who had completed internships at top companies and people who were working in top companies as software developers. So with their guidance, I was able to understand what were the things that I should focus on. And like I said, I was trying to get the second year summer internship opportunity off campus at any company, but unfortunately I wasn't very successful. So that's how my internship preparation journey itself started. And then the on campus the company started coming around August. My semester hadn't started by then, so I had a lot of time to prepare, so I kept preparing. And yeah, so I think Morgan Stanley was around the third or fourth company that came. So once I got the opportunity, I dropped everything and I stopped preparing and all of that. With regard to, ups and downs, I'm generally a person, I get stressed very easily. And, not applying to opportunities continuously and not getting shortlisted, it kind of, it made me very sad and I was very worried about so each time I got rejected, I was very worried that I might not get any internship or any placement opportunity. But apart from that pressure that I put on myself, apart from that, there were no other obstacles as such that I faced, I would say. So whoever is preparing for the internships, whoever is applying, I would say be kinder to yourself, and you'll definitely get it. So I believe that if you put in the hard work, it will definitely pay off at some point. So even if you're not getting the internship, you'll get the placement. So the preparation is definitely going to be useful. So yeah.
Yeah. So we mustn't put too much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
Tell us about your interview process at Morgan Stanley. What did they expect from you?
So the Morgan Stanley specific interview process, after the online assessment, I had two interviews. The first one was purely technical. And with regard to Morgan Stanley, apart from all the other topics that I mentioned earlier as the strong points, it's also important to know high-level system design when it comes to Morgan Stanley because they concentrate on that. So high-level system design, my first interview lasted about 1 hour, and a major part of it was devoted to a system design question. And after that, I had a question. I had a DSA question that I had to solve. Like I had to code it on an online compiler and run it, and show it to the interviewer. And after that, I had a DBMS. I had an OS question. I had two problems in OS that I had to solve. So this was my first interview, and so usually on campus, the interview process would, they'll try and get it over with in 1 day. So within a few hours, I got my call for the second interview. The second interview was a technical plus HR round. So it was a combination of both. And so it started off with no, it's actually started off with questions from my resume. So like I said, it's very important to be very thorough with your resume because they'll ask you a lot of questions from it. They'll go very deep into it. So it was a technical plus HR round. Again, it lasted for about 1 hour. So in general, not specific to Morgan Stanley, I would ask students to be very so it's more about communication skills. So they also care a lot about your communication skills. So it's very important that you sound very confident when you're answering. And even if you don't know the answer, at least tell them your thought process, because even if you don't give them the exact solution, it's very important for them to know, it's very important for the interviewers to know what your thought process is. So keep thinking aloud so they'll know that, you're trying to reach the solution in some way. And just be very confident and don't hesitate to ask for hints. If you ask for hints, sometimes it may be very useful and you might be able to use that to solve your questions, and it's not going to be a disadvantage for you at all, because asking for help is a very important quality. So yeah.
How did you feel when you bagged the internship? Were you elated or just satisfied?
I was actually extremely happy because like I said, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and with each rejection I was feeling sadder. And so yeah, it's just a something that I did to myself. So I would say I would ask students to not do that. But yeah, so once I got it, I was very happy. And it was also more of um, relief because I didn't have to practice with that much vigor anymore. So it was relief, and I was extremely happy. And this internship opportunity especially was in Bangalore. So I was also looking forward to, because I've never spent any time in a hostel or away from home. So I was very excited to go to a new city and explore and live on my own and complete this internship. So yeah.
That's great. As we know, Morgan Stanley is a financial services company. So, being an IT scholar, what were the roles and responsibilities assigned to you then?
So any intern who joins Morgan Stanley, you'll be assigned an intern manager, and you'll be assigned a buddy from your team. So they'll be there to help you throughout with your project. And before the internship starts, they'll give you a bunch of courses to do. But what exactly your project is, you'll only know once you join the firm and once your internship officially starts. And so I was assigned a data analysis project, and it was kind of a standalone project. Like it didn't depend on anything else that the team was doing. So I was able to work on my own at my own pace. So with respect to roles and responsibilities, basically I just had to keep updating my intern manager and my buddy about the progress that I had made. And if I got stuck with anything, I could ask them for help and they would help me out. But yeah, apart from the regular updates that I had to provide them with, there wasn't, yeah, I wouldn't say I had to attend trainings though, where they taught me new technologies. And they taught me new technologies, and they also had trainings that helped us learn about Morgan Stanley as a firm. And apart from that, I had to keep working on my project side by side. So this was basically all that I had to do in my 2 months duration that I was there. So yeah.
How was the work culture at Morgan Stanley? Have you faced any challenges during your time there?
So the work culture in Morgan Stanley was extremely good. And like even with for myself, my experience and the people that I talked to over there, they always said that they had a very good work-life balance, and that I could actually experience it because I was there for 2 months, and there was no cost for me to get stressed out at any point of time. Um, so that was really good. And even within the campus, the campus was very beautiful. And even within the campus, they had table tennis, foosball, and all of that. So you could play with your team whenever you wanted to, and you could take walks, downstairs. So I actually had my end semester exams like right in the middle of my internship because of all the COVID lockdown and all of that. So the academic schedule was a little, it wasn't the regular academic schedule. So I had to go in the middle of my internship to write my end semester exams offline. And the company and my team was very accommodative. They let me concentrate on my exam when it was happening. So, they didn't put any pressure on me to work on the project during the exams because they wanted me to do well in my exams as well. So that talk to anybody at any level. And there's no concept of sir, ma'am. So, when you address everybody only by name, that level, you don't feel intimidated, or you don't actually feel that, seniority, any intimidation because of the seniority and all of that. You can talk to anybody, you can seek help from anybody, from any team, not just within your team. So I felt that was really good. And with respect to difficulties that I faced, there weren't a lot. I think the only thing is, and this is, I think, mostly for all companies, usually operating within that company's network is slightly different, because like for example, all I had to use was mostly just Python, but even the basic Python installation, it'll work differently in the Morgan Stanley network because they have their own security systems up and all of that. So initially I had a little trouble with installation and all of that, but again, because I was offline and I could interact with all the people there, um, I was able to ask the others for help, and eventually I was able to sort it out. And after that, it was a pretty smooth journey.
Okay. Moving on to the last and final question for the day. What advice would you give your fellow juniors regarding internships?
So advice, I would say, it's very important to not take any rejection very personally, because I understand that you've put in the hard work, and it really hurts when you don't get into a company or get in any interview, or you don't get shortlisted. But the thing is that this process is extremely unpredictable. So during my year, I think there were one or two companies that came in the beginning that shortlisted people even before letting us write the online assessment. And you never know on what basis they shortlist people. They filtered out a lot of students, and you cannot ask the company why you did not get shortlisted. And similarly, even from getting shortlisted from the online assessment to the interview, there are some companies that give different questions to different students. Like all of us had different questions to, ensure no copying and plagiarism and all of that. So in that case, different, like you might be very strong with, say, graphs, but you did not get a graphs question and somebody else got it and they were able to solve it. So it's very unpredictable. Even with respect to the interview, it really matters who your interviewer is, and different people have different interviewers, so you don't know on what basis they do the final shortlisting. So don't take all of that personally. You just keep writing the test, you just keep giving the interviews when you get an opportunity. And uh, whatever happens, just forget about it and concentrate on the next company. Because if you take it too personally, and if you let it slow you down, then you will not be able to concentrate on the next company or the next test properly. So it's very important that you just trust the process and keep going. So yeah.
Thank you, Asmitha. It was very insightful. It was a pleasure having you here with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.